This is the Synthetic Signal Report for Sunday, March 15th, 2026, in the afternoon. Today, we analyze the re-emergence of the Glassworm Unicode attack across GitHub and NPM repositories, the launch of Office.eu as a sovereign European productivity platform, and the release of Chrome DevTools M-C-P for direct browser debugging by AI agents. We also track a significant energy anomaly in Apple GPU power models, the structural shift from transformers to state flow machines, and a zero-copy C++ engine designed to bypass system memory limits. Finally, we examine the recovery of discarded hardware through massive URL pattern reverse engineering and the ongoing instability in the Strait of Hormuz affecting global energy costs. A new wave of invisible attacks, known as Glassworm, is currently hitting major code repositories including GitHub and NPM. This technique utilizes specific Unicode characters to inject malicious logic into source code that remains completely invisible to the human eye. Security researchers at Aikido have identified that these attacks target the discrepancy between how a compiler reads code and how a code editor, like Visual Studio Code, displays it. The mechanism relies on using non-rendering characters to alter the flow of logical statements. For example, an attacker can insert an invisible character that causes a security check to be skipped, even though the text on the screen looks perfectly safe to a reviewer. This is not a simple typo squatting attack. It is a sophisticated manipulation of the text encoding standards. Projects using automated security scanners that do not specifically account for these hidden characters are at high risk. This re-emergence suggests that current supply chain defenses for open-source software still struggle with the fundamental ways digital text is represented and processed across different tools. Office.eu has officially launched, positioning itself as the primary sovereign Office platform for the European Union. This project represents a strategic move to decouple European administrative infrastructure from non-European technology providers. The platform integrates document editing, communication, and collaboration tools, all hosted on verified European hardware. The core objective of Office.eu is to ensure that data residency and processing remains strictly within European legal jurisdictions, avoiding the reach of international surveillance laws. This is a direct response to long-standing concerns regarding the digital sovereignty of government and enterprise data. By providing an integrated stack that mirrors the functionality of established American suites, the initiative seeks to provide a viable, high-security alternative for sensitive public sector workloads. The Chrome team has released the Chrome DevTools M-C-P, a tool that allows AI coding agents to interact directly with the browser's debugging environment. By using the Model Context Protocol, or MCP, these agents can now inspect the document object model, analyze network traffic, and evaluate JavaScript in real time. This development changes the how of AI-assisted web development. Instead of an LLM simply guessing why a website is broken based on a code snippet, the agent can now perform active diagnosis. It can set breakpoints, examine the state of the browser, and identify the exact line of code causing a rendering error. This creates a closed loop between the AI agent and the execution environment, significantly reducing the time required to debug complex, state-heavy web applications. A new analysis has detailed 5 catastrophic scenarios where deploying autonomous AI agents led to significant security breaches, specifically citing incidents involving Amazon and McKinsey. The core issue centers on agents being granted excessive permissions to internal systems without adequate supervisor oversight. In these cases, agents were tricked into bypassing security controls through indirect prompt injection or by exploiting flaws in how the agents handled external data. For example, an agent tasked with managing cloud resources might be manipulated into deleting entire production environments. This report serves as a warning that the rush to integrate autonomous agents into enterprise workflows is outpacing the development of specialized agentic security protocols. Without strict sandboxing and scoped access, These agents become high-value targets for attackers seeking to move laterally within a corporate network. Hardware analysts have identified an unexplained energy component in Apple's GPU power model. By reverse engineering the power consumption of the latest Apple silicon, researchers found a constant 114 watt energy draw that does not correlate with known compute tasks or architectural features. This discovery suggests that current power monitoring tools may be missing a significant portion of what the hardware is actually doing under the hood. While Apple chips are praised for their efficiency, this unexplained energy component raises questions about thermal management and the true power overhead of integrated AI accelerators. For high-performance computing and data center deployments using Apple hardware, this anomaly could lead to significant discrepancies between predicted and actual operating costs. In a move described as a signal from the future, researchers have moved away from optimizing transformers to focus on the stateflow machine. This new architecture addresses the memory wall that limits how much information a model can remember during a long conversation. Initial results show that the stateflow machine achieves a 79% length retention, compared to the mere 2% typical of standard transformers. This means the model can maintain coherence over much longer sequences without losing track of the initial context. By replacing the traditional attention mechanism with a more efficient state management system, this architecture could pave the way for AI that can truly understand and process massive datasets, such as entire codebases or long legal documents, in a single pass. A new zero-copy graph engine written in C++ has been developed to solve the memory problems often found in PyTorch geometric. Large-scale graph neural networks often crash because they run out of system RAM. This new engine bypasses the RAM entirely by streaming data directly from high-speed storage into the processor. This zero-copy approach means data is not constantly being moved and duplicated between different parts of the computer's memory. This allows researchers to train much larger models on standard hardware, such as a laptop, that would otherwise require a massive server cluster. This is a critical development for fields like drug discovery and social network analysis, where the data structures are too large for traditional memory-bound processing. In an under-the-radar development for digital sovereignty, a developer has successfully reverse-engineered 100,000 URL patterns to breathe new life into discarded security cameras. These devices were originally designed as e-waste, with no documentation or standard protocols. By identifying the hidden paths used for video streaming and control, the project allows these cameras to be used in self-hosted environments without relying on proprietary cloud services. This effort highlights the growing movement toward hardware reuse and a rejection of artificial planned obsolescence in the Internet of Things sector. United States Energy Secretary Chris Wright has stated there are no guarantees that gas prices will fall in the coming weeks. This acknowledgement comes as the Strait of Hormuz remains a high-risk zone due to ongoing regional instability. The administration is framing the current price shock as a short-term trade-off for long-term geopolitical stability, but the economic impact remains a significant concern for the global market. The Community Pulse is currently centered on the release of Better Leaks, an open-source secrets scanner designed to replace GitLeaks. Developed by the original author of GitLeaks, Better Leaks introduces highly efficient token scanning and parallelized Git processing. It boasts a 98.6% recall rate and plans to incorporate LLM-assisted analysis for better classification of sensitive data. We are also tracking the emergence of Trump Code, a trending tool on GitHub. It uses AI to perform cryptanalysis on social media posts to predict stock market impacts. The project claims a 61.3% hit rate across over 31 million models tested. In the hardware space, NVIDIA Green Boost is gaining traction. This open-source kernel module allows researchers to expand GPU video memory by using system RAM and NVMe storage. This is particularly relevant as models continue to grow in size beyond the limits of physical hardware. Finally, the security community is monitoring a cluster of vulnerabilities. These include a command injection flaw in the QUIP M-C-P server and a stack-based buffer overflow in D-Link DR619L routers. Users are also discussing the PH4 NTXM operating system, a specialized Linux distribution designed for high-risk environments that runs entirely in REM to ensure anonymity and a zero-trace digital footprint. This concludes the synthetic signal report for this afternoon.